My name is Miss Julia, and today we are going over openers and closers in your debate classes. So, first, we're going to go over the opener. And I know a number one says opener, but I'm going to kind of explain what that means. Generally, when your teachers assign an opener and a closer, it's the opening part of your debate speech and the ending part of your debate speech. So, let's talk about topic case or your opener. So there are four parts, and this is kind of the basic outline of your opener. If you get into higher levels, your teachers are probably going to add different parts and elements, but we're just going to do the basic stuff. And again, every teacher is going to expect something a little bit different, but here's a general outline of what your opener should look like in debate class. So first, we're going to start with our opener. So it's kind of like a hook in an essay. You want to grab the audience's attention. You want to use something like a quote or a fact or even a question, okay? So that's grabbing your audience's attention. Next, introduction. You were introducing yourself, what team you are on, and what speaker role you are. Next is your resolution. You were telling us what you guys are debating about. So today we will talk about junk food should be allowed in schools. And lastly is roadmap. You're telling us what you will talk about in your speech. So again, your opener. When you are speaking, your first words tell listeners a lot about you. Are you confident? Are you interesting? Are you funny? To make your speech more interesting, use an opener. It's like a hook in an essay. You want your listeners to pay attention to you. All right, so here's some different examples of a type of opener that you can use. A statistic or a fact. So, a statistic with a large, shocking number is like over 75% of Korean children attend academies. It kind of shocks you, it surprises you, it draws you in. The next one, a fact, says according to the OECD, South Korean children are the unhappiest kids in the developed world. That's kind of shocking to you. Really, in my own country, there's we're the unhappiest kids. Again, drawing the people in to your speech. Next, you can use a quote. Make sure it's someone with somewhat authority. You can't just use any quote by anyone because, maybe it's someone random saying something that when they don't have a lot of authority. So, for example, Singapore's education minister, someone who's really important, defends their problems with the high cost of private tutoring by saying we're not as bad as the Koreans. So again, using someone who's really important to bring people in. And lastly, you can tell a story. You can use a true story or you can make up a story. So you can say, for true story, when I was 10 years old, I did this. Or when I was 5 years old, this happened to me. Or you can make up and say, imagine a world where you have 5 hours of homework. How would you feel? Again, relating it to your own lives. Next is going to be your introduction. So, like I said, you need to say your name, your team side, and your speaker position. So, for example, in this case, hello, my name is Michael, and I'm the pro second speaker. Next is the resolution. So, the topic of the month is called the resolution, and you need to tell us what you're debating about. So, in this example, today we are debating the resolution that academies do more harm than good in South Korea. And when we write, we're going to write our own opener and closer in a second, and we're going to be doing a different topic. And lastly is a roadmap. So the roadmap tells the judge what you will do in your speech and the order you will do it in. So it helps to keep the debate organized and makes it easier for debaters to flow your speech. So you will say, first, I will refute Khan's first and second arguments. I will refute our first two arguments. And last, I will state our final argument that academies are too expensive. So again, you're telling the audience what you will talk about in your speech. So the second part of this is closers. So you've done all your refutations, rebuttals, arguments. Now you need to end it. You can't just say, okay, the end, or I'm finished. No, you need to end it. You need to make sure it's as strong as your opener and the middle and your arguments and everything. So you need to summarize what your argument was about. Tell the judge that your speech is ending, and then you have to give us the important ideas to remember. And then you can say thank you or thank you for listening. So the example is, so, Judge, because academies stress out children and makes families borrow too much money, please vote pro. Thank you. So you're telling us that you talked about in your speech that academies stress out children and make families borrow too much money. So they should vote for the pro team. They should vote for the con team. All right, so we're going to quickly write one together. So first we have our opener. So in this case, when we are going over the topic junk food should be allowed in schools, we're going to use a quote. And I found a quote by a doctor called Dr. Hyman. So we can say, according to Mark Hyman, MD, comma, there's no such thing as junk food. There's junk and there's food. So this is saying that we're going to be on the con side here. So according to this doctor, he's saying there's no such thing as junk food. There's either junk, really bad things, and then there's actual food. So this is telling us, this is bringing the audience in saying, oh my gosh, okay, maybe you're right. There is junk and there is food. Next, we're going to do our introduction. Oops. And then you can say, hello, my name is Miss Julia, and I am the first speaker on the con team. And then in your resolution, you say, today we are debating the resolution junk food should be allowed in schools. And then your roadmap, I will first refute the pro team's first two arguments and present our team's first two arguments. So that is what a general opener or top of case should look like. Again, you have your opener or your hook. You have an interesting piece of information or a quote or a story that brings the people in, like this quote that I have here. Then you say hello, who you are, what speaker role you are, and what team you're on. Tell us what the resolution or the topic of the month is. Then you tell us what you will talk about. Now we have our closer. So, Judge, if you don't want children to be unhappy and unhealthy, please vote for the con team. Thank you. All right, so that's pretty simple. That's a very simple way of doing your opener and closer. Your closer needs to not just say, please vote pro, please vote con. Thank you. It needs to say why. Why should we vote for you? If you don't want children to be unhappy and unhealthy, please vote for us. Because if you vote for the other team, children will be unhappy. They will be unhealthy. So vote for us so that children are not unhappy and unhealthy. Okay? So hopefully this was helpful today. Again, different teachers are going to expect different things from you, but for the most part, we're all going to go by this format. And like I said, if you are getting into the leaders 1, 2, and 3, you're going to be expected to do more, or they're going to look a little bit different. So again, just listen to your teachers. But I hope this helped today. Thank you.